Hi everyone, my name's Rhiannon from Blue Dog Board Games, and today I'm going to do a solo playthrough of the tiny wallet-sized game called Squire For Hire. But it's just so small. Now, this is a game that can be played from 1 to 2 players. I've never played it 2-player, I've only ever played it solo, and plays between like 10 to 15 minutes. And if I'm honest, the instructions are really poor. So I'm actually going to do just a tiny little setup at the beginning of the video, and I'm also going to talk through a little bit more as I play how the game actually works. Just because when I was learning the game, I had to go and seek out a video to understand what was going on. So hopefully if anyone else is in that same predicament, they can watch this video and understand a bit more how it plays. So let's get going. So the game is actually all stored in this tiny little sleeve, and the instructions are printed on the sleeve itself, which I feel like they should have just like printed a couple more cards and put them on, really, and use this as like an example, like a few examples like they've got on the back of here. But anyway, they didn't. So in the little sleeve box, you've got 4 different characters. So we're just going to play with Gust today. And the artwork is super cute. So just pop the rest to the side, you only need 1 character. And then you've got your satchel cards. So on one side you've got grids with objects and junk items in, and on the back you've got quests and encounters and dungeons to go through. So just give them a little shuffle and take 2 cards. From those 2 cards you are going to pick your starting satchel card. So Gust, all of the characters have slightly different scoring potential. Gust is very weapon heavy, so I think we're going to look to take a card with a weapon, and actually both of these have weapons on. So let's grab, I'm going to grab this one. So you just pop that in front of you and shuffle this one back in. There we go. So this one goes encounter side up, so you have your text in front of you and draw 1 card to the right and 1 card to the left, and you are ready to go. So you're basically building up your bag, trying to overlap the cards, blocking out junk items, which are things like feathers, broken swords, skulls, but trying to get objects that are identical next to each other, objects that are going to give you the scoring bonuses as to your character next to each other, and score points at the end of the game according to those criteria minus any junk items that you have. But Gust has a slightly different rule as well, so skulls are actually worth 1 point to him at the end of the game instead of -1, and broken swords are worth -2 points each. So we're trying to cover up, either not gain or cover up any broken swords that we do get. So let's see how that goes. So first of all, let's read the encounter. So you come across a travelling merchant with various goods looking to trade. They will only accept a trade of items, not coin or junk. Okay, so we have got a potion, a weapon, or a magical item that we could give him. The magical items are the purple ones. I think we want to try and keep the weapons because that's how he's going to be scoring more, essentially. So let's go for this card. So once you have found you can either pay the cost or you meet the criteria of the card that you have just read from, you can then pick either card, the left or right card, to actually add into your satchel. So I'm going to add this one and add it in somewhere. So basically you're trying to cover up any junk items. This one I have to cover up a item as a cost. So he's asking for 1 item, no coin or junk. So I'm going to be giving him my magical item by covering up that. It just so happens that I'm also covering up the junk, but that's fine. And as a bonus, I have now got 2 identical items next to each other, so that's actually going to give me an extra point at the end of the game. So that's pretty nice. When you're actually covering up an item, you have to fully cover it. You cannot just, this one covers 2 different spaces, 2 squares, so you can't cover just 1 square, you have to cover at least both the squares and any other number of squares around it that you want to, and you can rotate cards however which way you want to. So let's add that one in there. We have now succeeded that one, so that one just goes into the empty space to the side, and we're on to the next card here, which is a dungeon. So your party ventures into a powerful sorcerer's lair. Their illusions can lead you into dangerous traps unless you have the magic to protect yourself. So this one's a little bit different. We can either spend one potion from our satchel, we actually do have a potion, or we can count, and we can have at least magical items that cover at least 3 squares in our satchel. Unfortunately, we have just covered up a 2-square magical item. We don't have any squares with magical items in at all. So we're going to have to cover up the potion if we want to succeed at this card. And I think we do want to do that. So let's grab this one. No, we're going to go with this one instead, actually. I want to try and get the broken swords quite early so we have more chance of covering them up later on in the game. And let's cover up these glasses as well. There we go. So we've done that one. Encounter. You come across a wounded traveller. He agrees to give you his precious loot if you give him a healing potion. Now that's unfortunate, we've just given away our healing potion. So what happens here is it is impossible for us right now to give him a healing potion. We have to pass him by. But what we then have to do is discard this card into either the left or the right hand pile. And I think because this one has less loot, we're going to go for this one, which basically means we're rendering this card unobtainable in our game. And then you just move on to the next one. Encounter. The local temple has offered to provide some old provisions in exchange for a donation. So this one I have to cover up one valuable item in my satchel. So I've got 2 gold chests, so I can give them a gold chest. I think we will go for this one here. There we go. I'm going to cover up the broken sword as well. That one goes to the side. So, a quest. You have contracted a deadly blight. Dirg, the local alchemist, will sell you the cure for a price. Lots of people need healing potions right now. But this is where it says that you can either spend the healing potion or you can have at least 2 squares covered by treasure items. Now we have got 4 squares covered by treasure items, 1, 2, 3, 4, because the chest covers all 4 of them. Even though it's only 1 item, it still covers 4 squares. So we have already succeeded at that, so we can just take one of these cards automatically. Now your character that you've chosen will usually, in fact I think they all do, yeah, they all manipulate that square coverage in some way. So Gust will actually increase the number of squares that his weapons cover by 1. So he'll just add 1 to whatever his total is. So at the moment he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 squares covered, but he's got an extra 1. So he actually has an 8 squares covered with weapons. So we can just automatically take one of these. What are we going to go for? I really want this bow because I want to potentially pop it here. Then it can be next to both of these and get +4 at the end of the game. And if I do that, that's pretty nice actually. I'll do that. There we go. And I think we might be a bit cheeky. I said this one was rendered sort of unobtainable, but now because I'm going to actually pop this one over here instead to free this one up. Because I'm eyeing up this sword. So a group of bandits have trapped you in a nearby cave and demand a toll to let you go free. So again, I need weapons covering at least 2 squares. I well exceed that now. Or I can pay a valuable. I don't want to pay a valuable if I don't need to, because every item at the end of the game is worth 1 unless it's junk. So I'm just going to take that 1. and see if I can get it adjacent to this. I don't think I can without covering some stuff up really, because I'm now trapping the glasses. That's okay, I think. It's only one point at the end of the game, which is rendered. Yeah, we're going to go with that. Okay. A giant forest troll blocks your path. A spell might trick the troll into letting you pass. Or you can give up your clanky armour to sneak by. So I can spend one of my armours, or have at least 2 squares covered by magical items. I have 3, because I have 3 separate books. Okay, and this one has a skull on it. And remember, Gust gives us +1 at the end of the game for skulls. So that could be quite nice. And I could cover up a feather here with it. Yeah, I think we're just going to go with that. That's pretty nice. You dropped your hero's weapon into a chasm. Leave the weapon behind to carry on to the dungeon's treasures, or turn back to retrieve it. Ooh, okay, so now I need to spend a weapon, basically. I really don't want to disrupt this, so even though I've now got these 2 adjacent, I need to spend one of them. So I think we're going to have to go with this one up here. And let's just do this, I think. Unless... I think we're actually going to do this instead. We are covering up 2 items, but this is worth 2 points. 1 point because they're 2 adjacent identical items, but also an extra point at the end of the game because of the item type that's next to each other. If I pop this here, all of this is still exactly the same. I do -2 because I'm covering up nice juicy items, but then I'm gaining +2 anyway, so it's basically a null go. Let's go for that. There we go. I think we're going to pop that one over there. Any noise will alert the guards to your attempts to steal the goods. Drop the armour that clangs inside your bag to avoid detection. This could be pretty nice actually, because I can get 2 identical items side by side again. I am going to be covering up a skull, which is unfortunate because that's worth 1 point at the end of the game. All of my other armour is pretty tight in there, so I don't think I've got a lot of choice. Unless I do this, I'm just getting a bit worried about these swords getting to the end of the game, and I'm going to need to cover them up because otherwise they're going to be worth -2. Let's risk it. Let's choose this one. And then I've got a sword that I can cover up in a moment. A magical barrier seals off a hidden tomb ahead. You may be able to dispel it by destroying one of your magic items. I don't really want to destroy a magic item, if I'm honest. Let's go for this one then. I think we're going to choose this one up here. I'm cover that one like that. Okay, so last card. Dungeon. Your party comes across some ruins filled with swinging blades. Wear your best protective gear or use your weapon to jam the traps. So I can either spend a weapon or have armour that covers at least 3 squares. I well exceed that, so I don't have to worry about spending the weapon. Now, this is going to be, this tile, because it's going to be uncovered now, that's going to be worth 1, 2, it's going to be worth -1 at the end of the game, so I don't really want to take that one, so let's just go for this. And try and cover up as much junk as possible. Now I have this broken sword, which is worth -2, so I think we might try and cover that up. Because I don't think anything else is going to be more beneficial. I mean, I could cover up the feather and then have the 2 identical potions next to each other, but essentially that's the same thing. Okay, we're going to go for this then. Okay, there's our finished satchel. Now, I believe in a 2-player game, usually because you've got a couple of cards left, you'll reshuffle these so you'll just reshuffle those, have one story card in the middle, and then finish off by resolving this one and picking one of these 2. However, in a solo game, nothing gets reshuffled. This is basically the end. And scoring, you need to get 25 or more points at the end of the game. You will be beginning by scoring 1 point for each weapon, armour, magic, valuable or potion placed anywhere in your bag. So we have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. And then 1 for each identical item that touches. Corner, it's orthogonal only. So we've now got 24, 25. I think that's it, isn't it? Yeah. And then any combinations on your Squire card. So we have got skulls worth 1 point each, so 26, 27. No broken swords, which is good. And then bonus combinations, so 2 swords, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. And then -1 for every visible junk item, bar the skulls and the swords. So 31, 30, 29, 28, 27, 26 points total. So we needed a score of 25 to get hired, and so we've got 26, so we have won. And that is Squire For Hire. Now, of course, a game like Squire For Hire does not tick many people's boxes nowadays. You do see lots of big, massive, sprawling Euro games that are, hundreds of pounds on Kickstarter and take hours to play and a huge setup, loads of table space. And I really do love big, sprawling games. But there's also days where I want to play a game. I'm somebody who likes to try and play a game every day, even if it's just a tiny one like this. And oftentimes when it's after work or I'm busy in the evenings and I sit down at 9 p.m. at night, I'm tired, I don't want to use my brain, I still want to play a game. However, this is set up in less than 2 minutes. I can play it in 10 to 15 minutes. You don't have to switch your brain on that much. It's just a simple tile laying game, overlapping objects, a little bit of maths at the end, no pressure, no dice rolling, so it can be played when you're watching TV or around other people. It is my go-to lazy, I'm tired game. And I picked it up for I think about £7, and I have probably played it more than any other game in my collection. It's something that can slip into your back pocket, so you can take it to work with you, play on your lunch break. I've played it on a picnic bench before. I played it around other people's houses before when they're watching TV, and I'm not really a TV person, so I just sit in a little corner and play this while they're watching something. And I think if you're the sort of person that needs something like that just to fill a little slot for 10 minutes in a day, this is absolutely perfect. And I'm always looking out for more games like this, just ones that are super cheap and also look nice as well, because this market, the board game market, I do feel is absolutely flooded with big box games, and these ones just don't get enough love. So I am trying to spread the love for these types of games, because these ones probably get played more than any others in my collection, even though on average I would play a big game over this any day, but these definitely have a place, and this one will stay in my collection for a very long time. So I hope you enjoyed this playthrough, and if you do have any questions on the rules, do pop them in the comments below and I'll try and answer them, because yes, the rules in this game were really not clear to me, and I hope they are now clear to you. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. Bye bye!